Dan Willis here, and we're talking about credit bureau disputes expose the real truth about it. So when you dispute your credit report, this is how you challenge an item on your credit report and tell the credit bureaus to investigate it and potentially remove it. This is your right, protected and granted by the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and that legislation entitles you to dispute any item on your credit report that you believe is questionable, inaccurate, or made in error. So there's three ways to file your credit bureau dispute. You can do it online, over the phone, or by mail. Now, the FCRA requires the credit bureaus to investigate consumer disputes. But here's the catch, and this is why it's virtually guaranteed that your dispute is going to be found frivolous. The credit bureaus are private, for-profit businesses. They are not associated or affiliated with our government. They're only regulated by our government. They're not your friend by any means. And the only reason they even accept consumer disputes, and even that's debatable, but the only reason they accept them and will every once in a blue moon actually investigate a consumer dispute is because of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA. And believe it or not, the credit bureaus have been fined multiple times over the decades for violating that law, for violating consumer rights. So the credit bureau dispute process, for lack of a better word, is virtually a sham. The Attorney General for Ohio, Mike DeWine, in a 60-minute CBS report said, and I quote, about the credit bureau dispute process, "It's a secret operation that is so hard to crack." How many consumers out there that need to be told on the television commercials for a truck that this is not, don't try this at home? How many of these people can do this stuff? It's not realistic on any level, especially for any average Joe consumer that isn't an expert in consumer credit law by any means. And the last point here is your actual credit score. That's calculated by a company called FICO, Fair Isaac Corporation. And the way they calculate that is they take the information that's contained on all three of your credit reports, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, they plug it into their black magic secret algorithm, and out pops your credit score. But here's the key. It's a lot like your GPA or grade point average. If you have an F in underwater basket weaving, your GPA is going to be virtually screwed. And the same applies to your credit score. If you have a negative information, negative listings on your credit report, that's going to jack up your entire credit score. And according to FICO, and they openly acknowledge this, the better your credit score is, the more it's going to get damaged and lowered when you get slapped with any negative information that's on your credit report. So typically, you're going to get a response saying that your dispute is frivolous. Now, there's a few ways to proceed with this. Most people just give up and believe that it's impossible or somehow illegal to remove bad credit, or you have to live with it for 7 years. 7 years is the maximum amount of time you have to live with bad credit. There is no minimum amount of time that any item must remain on your credit report. So you have three options. You can either A, give up and just keep living with bad credit, which I'll practically guarantee will be much longer than the 7-year maximum. 2, you can keep doing it yourself, remain persistent, but you're going to have to stay very, very, very organized. And if you can do that, by all means, you can do this yourself, but anticipate quite a few hoops to jump through, and some frustration. The alternative, and the third alternative, and this is what wise consumers choose, is to get professional credit repair help. This is Dan Willis. We're going to include a link in the description below over to an article at our website for the full scoop on the credit bureau dispute process. We also have a free report available there, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. Please subscribe and join our congregation. Have a terrific day, and looking forward to talking to you again here soon.